dfcradio.com.
Feeling so high. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Cook up that hydro make me feel high. Feeling so high. Roll up that hydro make me feel
5 o'clock,
fine.
let's get to
Roll up
cooking.
that
The kitchen's
make me
open,
feel fine.
and I
Roll up
am
that
your cannabis chef's favorite cannabis chef. This is the Hydroponic Chef, and this is Farm to Table Cannabis. We got a great show lined up for you. It's hot in the kitchen, so we're going to want you to step back. Don't get burnt by the oven, all right? We got the kitchen for the next hour. We'll be all up in your ear. This is Farm to Table Cannabis. I am the Hydroponic Chef, and we're here to keep you entertained for the next hour. We are the only show offering edible reviews, interviews with the top brands in the industry, and cannabis news. So sit back, relax, and let's get the show started. Today we've got a alumni from the show, practically like a dozen times now. Babinka from Babinka Treats is in studio talking about her Valentine confectionery creations and everything Farm to Table Cannabis. Welcome, Babinka, everyone.
What's up, guys?
Hey, thank you for coming on, as always. It's a long trek over the DFZ Radio studios, but you always seem to make it worth it to our listeners. So, you know, educating and medicating, that's what we're all about, and that's why we invite you here. So you can, some of these first-time listeners, you're in for a treat, because Babinka has been doing it for many moons now, and she knows a little bit about navigating the rec market, navigating the black market, and white label versus black label, if you will. So we'll be getting into a conversation with her about Valentine's treats and infusions. And as always, you can call in 562-653-0707. You can win a magic butter machine. You don't have to pay anything but attention. If you got a question for Babinka or the Hydro Chef, we'll be ready to talk to you. And then we've got Kevin from Cosmic himself. He'll be coming in talking about all the awesome Cosmic creations, and they've got a unique product. They've got vegan cookies, edibles galore, and he will be educating and medicating with us here shortly. He's in traffic, I'm assuming, because that's what SoCal's about down here is traffic. So we're here to help you get through the traffic while you're medicating in traffic. We're going to be medicating in the studio. So we like to start off each show with a little bit of news, and this is the week. This is the week of much change. So welcome, Kevin, to the studio. And it's been wild out there. The coronavirus has been like the big scare in everyone's mind, And are you coughing over there, Babinka? No coughing. I just said coronavirus. No, every time Babinka coughs, corona gets its lime. But they said that the coronavirus is actually bad for pot stocks, and it's bad for pot. Period. A lot of people do their production and their packaging and material stuff comes from China. And so a lot of that stuff has slowed things down. It's basically becoming a pandemic status, already in the news more than even Donald Trump, the coronavirus is. But the most pain, at least, has been short-term for people, and it could be felt by ancillary pot stocks that don't come in contact with the cannabis plant, but are nevertheless imperative by the industry's operation. Utilizing an example like Cree from the lighting solution company, they're having a hard time getting products, and although cannabis industry still leans high on high-pressure sodium lights, the LED bulbs that they use are become more popular, and everyone knows 2020 is the year of the LED. So when they rely heavily on Chinese manufacturing to get their products out there, the coronavirus is going to have an effect on that, and then has an effect on everything from fans to plastics to packaging for cannabis. So the coronavirus, fuck that shit. And it's not only is it bad, it's super bad when it's starting to affect the cannabis industry too, and taking people's lives. So already 900 people confirmed dead. So let's hope that they can get a hold on this shit real quick.
Yeah, my next order of socks is being held up right now in China.
Yeah, you know what? I ordered a jersey before the Super Bowl collapse of the Niners, and the jersey got held up, and the guy said, "Oh, well, it's coming from China," and I figured you didn't want it. I figured you'd want to wait. Good call. I'll hold off on that Nick Bosa coronavirus jersey. So let's go to Let's go to Washington. This comes from NBC News. Black entrepreneurs are struggling to join the weed and legal weed industry. Dave Warden, a bud tender at Private Organic Therapy, a nonprofit cooperative. Excuse me. This article was written by Nick Charles. I want to give credit to the person who read it first and foremost. But now that corporate interest and large investors have targeted the huge marijuana industry, some African American wonder if the racial inequality that has prevented them from participating in the leafy economic boom will continue. Since 2014, when Colorado opened the first regulated weed market, at least 11 states, including the District of Columbia, have jumped on the recreational bandwagon and to ease access to medical marijuana, but also grab a share of the estimated $40 billion in the legal cannabis market. There are 33 states where medical marijuana is legal, and there is estimated 55 million Americans who regularly use marijuana. But despite these developments, many African Americans across the country are concerned that the lack of access to capital and systemic economic racism will exclude them from the burgeoning marijuana business that they've been excluded from in opportunities in the past. So one of the things that we've definitely learned since the establishment of the equity program is that a license doesn't go as far as it needs to be. Jacob Plowden, co-founder and deputy director of Cannabis Culture Association, they have been marginalized and underrepresented in communities, and they have to compete against the retail cannabis industry right now that has already kind of been set up before that. So the numbers are disturbing. Less than a fifth of the people involved at an ownership or stakeholder level were people of color in 2017. And black people made up only 4.3% of owners of cannabis companies. New Jersey has proposed a bill mandating that 25% of all legal licenses be set aside for people of color. Legislature in New York has emphatically said that they will vote for any legislation that doesn't redirect some of the profits from legalization to communities of color, and Massachusetts added a social equity program to their legalization efforts still. Still, though, the number of African American involved in the legal cannabis industry remains low, and this is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on and help. You see folks out there like Berner, and I got to give a shout out to Uncle Berner. Those guys are doing big things in the social equity program and helping people that were taken down by the pot industry, and in their communities were persecuted, worse than any of the suburbs were. And those are the people that should have first access to some of these cannabis jobs and some of these cannabis opportunities for ownership and operations. And we're going to keep an eye on that. We're happy to shed a light on that in Farm to Table Cannabis, and we're going to keep on bringing the news to you like this. Going to Cincinnati now, Ohio. They've added 3 new medical conditions where you can smoke cannabis for. You got to damn near be fucking dying to get shit. Nice. Listen to these. I can't even say some of these diseases. So cachea, which is a wasting disease marked by extreme weight loss and has been proved before it can be, their symptoms can be eased by cannabis. And an Ohio State Medical Board committee sorted through 27 petitions submitted late last year, suggesting 22 conditions. Several, such as chronic pain, HIV, AIDS, were already on the list, but others lacked requirements such as research or support for physicians. So, there's so much more research that has to be done before these people can get their medicine. Whatever happened to, if it works for you, keep on doing it. How the opioid crisis, the prescription painkillers, alcohol. I know what makes me feel good, but the panel rejected petitions for conditions from the broad turn down from last year because they felt the new evidence submitted did not meet the bar. Depression, insomnia, opioid use disorder, all rejected. So, Ohio's got a long way to come, folks, and we're gonna pray for you, Ohio growers out there. And then I like this article. This was a trip. This is out of this is all over. Oh, this is international right here. This applies to everyone. All right. This is from Vice. The worst places in the world to get caught with weed. All right. So going down the list, guys. All right. Indonesia. Not good to get caught with Indonesia. It's a fucking what they call a Group 1 drug, considered with crystal meth and heroin. The punishment for getting caught with cannabis for personal use is 4 years in prison and mandatory rehabilitation. If you get caught growing more than 5 plants, 20 years in jail.
Wow, must be good.
So let's go down to Japan. Japan is so strict on weed that when Canada legalized weed in 2018, the Japanese government warned its citizens abroad to not partake because they could still face consequences at home. And then we all know Singapore doesn't fuck around.
Yeah.
Singapore will lash your ass. You don't spit on the sidewalk. You don't chew gum.
Or smoke a joint.
And you don't smoke joint in Singapore. So
What's the penalty?
lashes.
Like
yeah.
they hit you with a whip?
I mean, yeah, for sure. Remember that story from the 90s when that little Chad went over there and was spray painting everything? And I think he ripped up some paintings or
right.
some crap and then threw his gum on the sidewalk. And yeah.
Well, in some cases.
They whipped his ass.
I have a friend
Wow.
from Singapore, and she says they'll hang you.
Yeah,
if you
for
get caught with
tree.
cannabis.
Yeah, straight
Oh,
up.
shut up.
So
Serious.
Thailand also, they've recently loosened their weed laws, but you know, there was times where you could be killed for mushrooms, opium, or you know, backpacking with some hash in your fucking backpack. So be safe while you're traveling out there, Farm to Table Cannabis listeners. You know, the world is your oyster, but it's not your bong.
Just bring edibles with you.
So we are Farm to Table Cannabis. I'd like to welcome the Cosmic Boys into the studio. What's good?
Thank you.
Welcome. We got
Thank
Kevin
you.
and the rest of the crew. Introduce yourselves. You're having to say, you got to share the mic. I know that's rough.
I'm Weston.
Yo, what up?
I'm Christian.
Thank
How
you.
you doing?
Weston
What's
and
up?
Christian from Cosmic
Yeah.
Edibles, and we have Kevin,
Yep, back.
the
Thank you.
daddy of the operation over here.
Yeah, haven't- back again, thank you.
Bake Daddy Dog over here. And then we got
Yeah.
Babinka co-hosting today, so she's going to interject every once in a while. She might even throw a cupcake your way.
Yeah, we brought some cookies here. They're somewhere here. We got some cookies.
So but it's been a minute since we talked last. You know, it was 2019, and the industry was a fucking whirlwind tornado of trying to navigate things. And
It still is.
you know, you're still here, which is a great sign because you know, a lot of people went back to the black market.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's been true. It's so true that it's not what you do, it's how you do it, right? And you guys do it extremely well. That your guys' packaging, your guys' ability to market, and the way you just care about what you put in with the ingredients
Thank
and
you,
everything.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the vegan edibles, the first thing that people were jumping in the comment section today, they wanted to know if you guys have gluten-free edibles.
We do not, and it was something that in the development process that I looked into. But the gluten-free flour just changed the cookies dramatically. And when using egg substitute and the butter substitute didn't change them in a way that made them not kind of fresh tasting, and that's just a different taste. The gluten-free. The using the gluten-free flour just as a different taste, but it wasn't what I was going for.
Now, but Binky, you've cooked with multiple different types of baked goods and done things. Have you ever tried the gluten-free flours?
Yes, but for donuts and cakes, and those are a little bit different for cookies. With cookies, yeah, it's a weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't get the texture that most people are looking for.
Yeah, I mean, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trashing it. But
Well, I wasn't hesitating to trash the Girl Scouts when they came over to my front door and they said, "Hi, sir," and I opened my door and it smelled like weed, and I just got done taking a bong rip, and I've got my little, my 6-year-old with me looking, "Daddy, why are you always in your room by yourself? You want some cookies?" And what are those cookies? And they held up gluten-free cookies, and I was thinking, oh wow, that's a novel idea
Wow.
for you Girl Scouts. And we got those and some of my favorite peanut butter ones, and I gave it a chance because they were Girl Scouts and they were sweeter than shit, little princesses, and I ate the cookies and they sucked.
Oh.
So I left them a bad Yelp review.
Yeah.
I don't know what's with this little chick, but she needs to get her shit together.
That was you?
Maybe that was harsh, but hey, Girl Scouts of America, if you're listening, hey, stick to brownies.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're still around, growing. Yeah, everything's good.
That's good. Well, thank you. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Made it just in time. And but Bink and I were discussing before you guys got here was like how to make the decision to white label a product or go with it the way you have and bring your own product to the market. But Bink has had a very successful time at the sessions, at the events, and the private bakings, and it's almost where you have to make that decision. Do you run with the brand or do you white label it? So how did you guys come to that conclusion to avoid the headache that goes with the black market and go with your own brand?
Well, I mean, I think for me it was something like I didn't see the benefit in white labeling when we still had expansion to do even on this brand the way it is. I just felt like taking these cookies because it's kind of a unique cookie and then white labeling it someplace else. Places that potentially this brand hasn't gotten into yet, it didn't seem like the right thing to do because we're almost competing with ourselves because we haven't expanded fully out yet.
So what would you recommend then to somebody who they've got an idea, and they can try to find partnership or investing, but everyone wants to white label, and they don't want to
Well,
push the brand.
Then you take it because it's great business. It's just it depends on how it depends on how you get, what you're looking for your your future, where you're going to be and where you want to be, and the brand to us is like the most important, and keeping that at a high premium, and expanding it like grassroots. That's kind of how we're doing it. It's kind of taking on its own, morphing its own individual character.
It becomes its own brand,
Mhm.
and that's really unique because
Yeah.
like they say the shit writes itself.
Kinda,
And when
it
you
does.
come out with a good product and a great idea, I mean, that's very true. Now, for the THC and CBD versions, now the CBD versions, those are shippable, or are those not able to be shipped?
Well, I have to check with the lawyers. But
I was always wondering how the CBD part of it worked for like the edible brands.
Yeah.
Like, because like the people in our listener land, they often want to pick up products from the show.
Yeah.
And if you guys had a website where we could give that to them, there's a lot of CBD heavy listeners that like to hear about that. Are you
Oh,
guys
that's nice.
products available through delivery services?
No. Well, no, not right. Well, no, I don't think we are. Right now, no. We got off ease.
I
whole
can
nother
understand
story,
that.
yeah.
That went
Yeah.
fast for them.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
blip on the radar.
Yeah.
And that was another classic lesson in corporate cannabis, because everybody wants to get rich off the plant without touching it.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about what happened to Eve.
Well, I just think it was a bunch of bad publicity, and things that I probably are above my pay grade or firsthand knowledge to speak on. But sometimes there's baggage that comes along with associations for companies, and it's in mom and pop brands' best
Yeah.
interest to not be involved with
Yeah.
some of the bullshit in the corporate cannabis world. And
Yeah.
I'm in a position to speak on that because I tread that line between cannabis producer and a supplier. I don't actually grow the cannabis in my day-to-day job. I sell gardening equipment. But they say this all the time. It wasn't the gold panners that got rich during
I
the
know,
gold
it's
rush.
true.
It was the pickaxes and shovel guys.
Yep.
So you found your pickaxe and shovel area, which is the kitchen.
Yeah.
Building out a commercial kitchen for the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
That is not an easy feat.
No, I think we talked about this a little last time, in the fact that instead of just going straight in for the cannabis one, I built a commercial bakery first and went through the whole health department process and
Because
got permitted.
that's the most important part of it.
Yeah, and it's really similar on the cannabis side. So there's only a few extra things you have to do. So I got it permitted as a commercial bakery prior to transferring it into a cannabis one.
So without going into too much depth or giving any proprietary secrets away, you do cookies, but people out there listening, they're setting up their facilities. They want to know what the equipment to put. 3 most have to have items in your commercial baking kitchen for a cannabis chef.
Well, what I would, particularly for a bakery, because that's
Yeah.
all we did. I talked to a few commercial bakers, and they said, spend your money on the mixers in the oven.
Hobarts and shit. It's right
Yeah,
out the
and,
rip. That's where
and
the money
everything
comes.
else, like, you can chintz on to
Yep.
save money, but don't chintz on that
Because if
you'll
your
regret
mixer
it.
breaks down, your entire operation's down.
Yeah.
If your oven comes down, you can have that thing replaced in a couple days. But
Yep.
those things, a lot of the times, are shipped from another country.
Yep.
Parts being
Yep.
manufactured in Germany.
Yeah, I hired a kitchen consultant who helped us out at the beginning, which really helped in those things, telling us which mixers were made here, which mixers had the belts instead of or the chains instead of the belts, because the chains will run longer and you can just keep them almost running nonstop all day long with no problems.
Very important.
But they're more money, so it's just a matter. That's why they say
less
spend-
maintenance.
Yeah, and they're just workhorses, and you spend the money in those places.
Because if you look about the tools in a bakery, and Babinka, you look in your kitchen and you see all the tools that you have. Now, they haven't changed much
No.
since the foundation of culinary cuisine is a actual, a booked subject. All right. Now, yes, we have gears and mechanic and electricity now, but they all pretty much function the same way to achieve the same process. There's only a certain way you can fold the bread.
Yep.
There's only a certain way you can make a croissant, and a lot of that stuff is still handwork, thank God.
Yep.
But automation is something that's coming into it.
Yep.
And with 2020 coming as being one of the biggest years in cannabis, and your production probably going to get hit and tried because we don't know the stresses that have been put on your kitchen yet because we're just barely tapping the industry. Are you built to be able to scale to this evolving industry right now?
Yeah, I mean, the kitchen's way too big for what we're
You guys
actually
picked out your
working now.
robots already and stuff?
Yeah, and we wired
You
it
guys
right.
robots right now?
Yeah.
Basically.
Doughbots.
We love it, though.
Yeah, but the one challenge we have is they're all handmade still.
Okay.
But we, that's part of our thing,
Which is still a good thing, though.
Yeah, and so we're going to try to continue that as far as the production will allow. But I set it up as a stair, like, almost production stair level, where each level of additional production has certain things you have to implement: additional mixers, additional ovens, additional bodies, additional tables. There is machines that do certain elements of those, like the packaging and things that you add at certain spots. You get to a point where it's suddenly worth it based on how much your return is going to be for the labor you're saving. Otherwise, you just pack it with labor and have a huge workers' comp bill.
Yeah, see. Well, you're doing it the right way. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We're gonna pay some bills. You guys want to take some dabs and get litter than shit?
Yeah,
I say Babinka said yes. All right. So let's get lit. We'll be back. Farm to Table Cannabis, DFZ Radio. We got Babinka in studio and Cosmic Edibles, Hydro Chef approved.
Side diesel in my blood, purple drink in my cup. Someone tell the DJ, crank it on up. Side diesel in my blood, purple drink in my cup. Someone tell the DJ, crank it on up. Yeah, crank it up, crank it on up, crank it up. Sour diesel up in my blood, purple drink up in my cup, crank it up, crank it on up. That's D. Got me smoking the bass, no stress cheese. Now hold up, now roll up. Check the situation, about to go nuts. With a little bit of perk up in my cup. You could tell the bartender to fill it on up. That's alright, baby, work your stuff. And that's all night, baby, work your strut. You and your friends can ride when I go. Take a little spin in my Monte Carlo. Take a little dip, baby, show you how I roll. Take a little hit, baby, puff on the hydro. Eyes so lit, make me look like my eyes closed. Purple Drake mix, make me look like my eyes closed. Hypno breaker. DFZ Radio. DFZRadio.com.
Launch crew, ready to reservoir.
What's the load factor, sir?
Bringing the Riser Blast liquid at 2 mils per gallon.
Okay, sir. We are loaded and ready to launch.
10, 9.
Okay, men. It's time to blast off into the plant's root zone and into another galaxy of root growth.
Rhizoblast is a proprietary blend of seaweed and the single-celled algae chlorella. Chlorella's abundance of amino acids and minerals contribute to its value in hydroponics. The benefits used in Rhizoblast are explosive root growth, the use with any growing medium or hydro system, its ideal use for transplanting, and the enhancement of your plant vigor in fast-flowering plants. Let your plants have a blast and see a world of a difference with Rhizoblast from Botanicare. Check it out at www.botanicare.com.
DFZRadio.com.
This a Young Ill production.
Perp got me fired up. It got me fired up. Kush got me fired up. It got me fired up. Dooney. Perp got me gone. I don't know what's on my mind. Ain't no way I'm coming down. Where you at? I'm on cloud 9 and I'm fucked up. Yeah, you know I'm out my brain. Roll it up, light it up. Yeah, you know I pack that flame. Yo, now I'm fired up. Oh, I be fired. Perp blowing up. If I roll up 2, I'm stuck. If I roll 1 more, I'm fucked. Feeling like I'm off on a spaceship. Ain't no squares in my circle. Smoke this and I bet you a shapeshift. I'm so turned up when I burn out. You know I'm about to burn up. Go ahead and roll a perp up. This shit be the truth like I'm smoking on Sojourner. I'm fired up. Baby mama got me tied up. But I ain't tripping when she get to sipping. She'll fall asleep and I'm wide up. Wide awake and I'm about to creep up on the yellow freak. We done fucked around and smoke the G. Her lips on me like she smoking me. Smoking me. Smoking that. Chronic sack. Back to back. Perp looking like another shade of black. I'm fired up and I'm faded, Jack. Faded, Jack. Perp got me gone. I don't know what's on my mind. Ain't no way I'm coming down. Where you at? I'm on cloud 9 and I'm fucked up. Yeah,
All right, we're back. Farm for Table Cannabis, DFZ Radio. So we got Cosmic Edibles in the studio. They're eating on some vegan cookies. Babinka got some of these Valentine's Day treats. I hope you guys got some plans for Valentine's Day. It's going to be going down with all the edibles being bought. So, you know, as always, we like to bring you these edible companies to talk to, but we also like to keep people up on their gardening games. So we're going to make a quick call over to our friends over at the new store, and we're going to see if these guys are up on game when it comes to the new products out there for Valentine's Day. So, without further ado, let's call my friends over at Hydroponics Inc.
Hydroponic Inc. about to get prank called. Go and hit that arrow. Yep.
Why, yes. It's a very special week for me and my sweeties, and I was wondering if you had some supplements or some sweet stuff that I could give to my lady friends, if you know what I mean.
Lady friends?
You know, something, you know, some ladies that got held up in the garage, if you know what I mean. They don't come out to the light very often, maybe just once every 12 hours, if you know what I mean.
Oh, you need some sugar for your ladies.
Ooh, yeah, some sweet, definitely. This guy gets it.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. You know, those ladies that make you tired at nighttime?
This guy gets it. Oh, yes, me and my ladies, we like to curl up with a nice little dab, and we do some Netflix and some chill. I got you laughing. Who am I speaking to? This is the Hydro Chef. Who I got on the phone?
Oh, no, this is Hydroponics Inc.
Oh, shit. What up, Hydro Inc.? This is Devin, the Hydro Chef. Is this Jay?
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Jay, man. You always kept your composure. I thought you were going to tell me to fuck off there for a minute. But it's Valentine's Day, so we wanted to play a quick little prank call, make sure you knew about the sweets and the sugars for the ladies. So if you need some sugar and some sweet for your ladies, go check out Hydroponics Inc. New location up there in the desert. Where are you located at, Jay?
We're located on, the address is 19020 North Indian Canyon Drive, Desert Hot Springs, just north of 10 Freeway.
That's it.
The deal in the whole desert you're going to find.
You stop by there, they got the best prices on LEDs, the best prices on general hydroponics. They got the best prices on everything in the industry. So go check them out, Hydroponics Inc. up in the high desert. Big up to you, Jay. Thanks for not telling me to fuck off, buddy.
Hey, I was about to, but you're good, boss man.
Hey, happy Valentine's Day, man. Well, we're gonna shoot you guys some lunch free at DFZ Radio Studio. Get you guys some food up there to the high desert. I know you can pick something out to eat up there.
Oh yeah, I got you, Devin, man. I appreciate it. You almost got me for a minute, bud.
Almost. I had him in the first half, but he got me in the second. Big ups to you, Jay. Much respect.
All right, boss.
Later, G. That was good, man. He was quick on it. He was going with me the whole time.
He's doing it.
So yeah, it's a fun time out here in Hydroponics Chef's land. You know, I like to make y'all laugh and have fun. And you know who else likes to make you laugh and have fun? Babinka with her medicated treats. No, Babinka, was that a good segue or what? Before you got here, you said you were over at the homegirl's house setting up the, teaching her how to do edibles.
Oh yeah, she made some wedding cookies, and I was just teaching her how to dose it. It was good.
It's funny because, you know, I'm so used to all the traditional type of cookies, the snickerdoodles, the chocolate chips and stuff, but you always come out of left field with like the wedding cookies, the ube. Yeah, she saw it. She read my mind there. She knew my white brain wasn't quick enough to pull that out. And speaking of ube, I was in Hawaii this time last year, and we were eating on some of that ube, the breads, you know, and it's like it gives it everything that purple tint.
Yeah.
And it's great for sweets. It's great for savories.
Yep.
It's good for everything. What have you done lately with the ube?
Cheesecake. I made ube cheesecake. ube cupcakes.
She got ube in her hair right now. It's a little purple tips. I saw that.
Recently, because I've been getting a lot of requests for keto friendly. Everybody's on this keto diet.
We all just rolled our eyes and shit.
So I made some ube keto donuts.
No, you got to keep it outside the box, right? And that's what makes baking a unique trait, because you can never know it all. And you're always going to keep learning. There's always going to be a new technique, a new diet.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about cannabis is it's opened up an entire new world when it comes to baking and cooking and growing, for that matter. It's evolved our cooking technique. It's evolved our growing techniques. And you see a lot of it in the way that the products are made and sourced. Now, Babinka, when you're sourcing your ingredients and you're making things, are you using distillates? Are you making butters? Are you making oils? What's your preferred infusion method?
I use shatter, and I infuse that in coconut oil. And I've been sticking to the same strain for 4 years now, the SFEOG.
So you're really happy with that one.
Yeah.
So you're procuring your own ingredients. You're following, making sure that what you're putting in your cookies and your cakes is something that you would actually consume yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
So with the SFEOG, is it the flavor or the high that you think is the?
It's the high.
The high.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't really taste it because you don't taste shatter in edibles.
No, okay, I didn't know that. I thought with the shatter that I had to worry more about maybe having some flavors in there. But I guess with the distillate and the shatters, you're good. But when you're using like the plant material and stuff like that, you're going to get a lot more of that flavor in green cookies.
Right. You're using less meds, so there's no cannabis taste. I personally don't like the taste of cannabis. I've had a lot of bad experience, and it's associated with the taste of cannabis. So anytime I taste it, it just.
Well, we all experimented and made bad edibles once or twice, And
yeah.
let's talk about it. No one ever remembers the great product they have. They only talk about the shitty one they had, right? And it's like, I don't remember my very best thing I ever cooked, but I know the worst one I did.
Oh, I remember the best things I cooked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it's other people's
Well,
products that I've had.
Let's go down the list. What was the best edible
Right.
that you cooked for an event that you posted and your Instagram got deleted that you just wish you had that picture back because you remember that was one of your star products?
Oh, well, no, I got my Instagram back.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So now I've been deleted twice.
That's huge. I didn't get ours back when we got deleted.
Listen, I don't.
The one that comes
put
to mind
any-
for me was that unicorn cake you did.
Oh, the unicorn
That
cake.
shit was on some boss shit.
I think the cheesecake, the ube cheesecake. The first time I made that cheesecake, I ate the whole thing. I didn't even save any for
Shut
anybody.
up.
Atta
The
girl.
whole
That's
cheesecake.
it. That thing sits in the fridge.
Wow.
And then for our what was that New Year's Eve episode, we had the whole studio packed. We were making infused oil in the studio, and you brought a cake that day.
It was the Babinka cake.
Yes, and that was I believe there was part marbled ube in there too. Do you do marbling in that?
I can.
That's
Yeah.
so sick. So how do they hire you if they want to pick up? I know Valentine's Day you already got booked weeks before Valentine's Day. That means things are going good.
Yeah.
So what's the next holiday and how can they book you for that?
You can hit me up on Instagram. Probably the next thing I'll have is for Easter. Maybe something for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, some
Maybe.
Irish soda bread,
That's
lassie.
Yeah.
Ah, that's good. That'll be good for
Bailey's
Yeah.
Bailey's infused.
Oh, now you're talking me language.
Yeah.
And you guys, since we're talking about sourcing your own ingredients, what is the infusion method for cosmic edibles? I know you can't give out too many trade secrets, but you can tell me if we're eating distillate or butter or...
Yeah, distillate. We use it's a specially made one that we have made for us. Just because we've used the same one forever, and we just get good comments about the feeling people get on it. It's a real relaxing, even keel, kind of almost expected. You kind of understand what you're gonna get. When
I
you
like
eat
that. I can understand that. As they
Yeah.
call that a familiar high.
Kinda. So we've stuck with it.
Do you know what strain is going into it?
Well, at this point, they call it just a hybrid, because they've removed most of it. I mean, we use a 95%, THC distillate.
What are your thoughts on that, Babinka? If you're starting with your San Fernando Valley OG, you break it down, you turn it into some distillate, and we take his, I don't know, mixed hybrid product. Would you be able to tell the difference between like the high? Because you said you like your high better. Would you be able to tell the difference between your SFV OG high and your, I don't know, bad example, Purple Punch?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, because I'll eat my edibles and then I'll eat someone else's, and it will hit me different. Sometimes it'll knock me out, or I'll be, others will make me feel creative, or I'm up, like I just drank a cup of coffee and I'm ready to get the day started. So it just really depends on what they put in there.
Because I always wondered about distillate. Does it affect the way you get high when it's mixed, as opposed to using the same varietal of one another?
I don't know like all the scientific terms, but you know how each plant has a certain percentage of the different elements. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the terpenes.
And all that.
Yeah.
So I mean that does affect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like.
Do you only use one strain for your stuff?
Yeah, I've stuck with SFVOG for a while. I mean, if
wow.
somebody will request, you know, something different, but I mean, I haven't got that request yet.
I think there's
that's
something to
interesting.
consistency. I think there's definitely something to that.
Yeah.
Being able to, you know, experience the same thing over and over, and then
Yeah.
again saying, "Oh, this is a familiar high for me.
Yeah.
I know what I'm
Yeah.
going to get
Yeah.
when I have Babinka or Cosmic Edibles. I know that high."
Yeah.
Where other people, and we've heard the horror stories, you know, half a cookie's medicated, the other half's fully medicated. You know, and,
Yeah,
you
for
don't
sure.
know. You eat half of it and you're cussing them out, and then you eat the other half, and it's game over.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people ask me that question, what I typically say is like the difference between what we use and then like a full spectrum is that, you know, if you compare it to like car engines, you know, the gasoline engine is more of like a full spectrum. You don't really 100% know where you're going to get when you hit the gas. There's an
Right.
arc to your advancement. But on a distillate, it's more like an electric vehicle, like a Tesla. It just kind of it kind of goes on a trajectory that's pretty consistent, and you can kind of understand what you're getting. So you don't eat it, and once you start feeling it, it's just kind of multiplying is all, as opposed to, whoa, you know.
Oh, it's like a gradual.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
real
perfect.
consistent. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't like feeling like all of a sudden it just hits you and you're like, oh shit, like I'm fucking high.
Yeah. So we get a lot of like recreational, you know, people who are coming into the business because it's a very easy thing to consume when you've heard horror stories about edibles.
Yeah.
Because we don't get a lot of stories on ours, you know, with tripping out and you know seeing images and colors and stuff.
So with the I would pay extra for that.
Yeah.
So with the microdosing craze and everything that's going on, what do you think is the good dose for someone who is, you know, just beginning to medicate? They haven't, you know, had cannabis since high school and they want to try an edible for their first time. What do you think is a good dose if playing with your guys' cookies?
Well, I always suggest a half a cookie to start. That's 5 milligrams, and I can still feel that, even me, you know. So that's kind of what I tell people who aren't cannabis and big cannabis consumers, is a half a cookie, and then start there. Wait an hour, and you know, depends on how much you've eaten, how much you haven't eaten.
Each person's different too. Everyone's results different. Is going to vary too.
Whether you're tired, whether there's lots of things.
And your metabolism is different too.
Absolutely.
Now,
I'm sorry, these are so good.
Oh, thank you.
I already ate two.
I already ate two.
Those are fire. Now, each one of your guys' cookies are 10 milligrams
10
each?
milligrams, yep.
And the CBDs?
Well, they're 25, but we're just focusing on the THC here at this point. Just
Okay.
because it's such an the CBD business was so small for us.
Really?
So we just decided to, for now, we still have it on the menu, but we're focusing.
If somebody
on this.
wanted to order it for a store and have CBD cookies, it's still available.
Yes,
now, is that hemp-derived CBD or is it cannabis-derived CBD?
Cannabis-derived,
Because you can't put hemp, I guess, in food. Is that true?
I don't. That's
He's like, I'll call my lawyer on that one.
Yeah, well, I think you're right.
Let me ask my attorney, Babinka.
I think you're right, but yeah.
Wouldn't that be so sick? Babinka shows up with this big old binder and law. She like comes in with her
Slams
hair
it
all,
on there.
dude, her hair's all dyed and shit. She's got like ube still like spilt on her elbow from when she was cooking in the morning. So I'd like to talk about my cannabis company and the legalities of hemp versus CBD and because it's bullshit right now, you guys. You can't put fucking hemp-derived CBD in an edible, but you can put cannabis-derived CBD in an edible. And on the microscopic level, when they look at the freaking molecules, they can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
They're the same thing.
Yeah, we get ours out of Colorado, actually, because they have some really good manufacturers there.
Yeah, the extract game is really big in Colorado right now. And I think they beat THC to death with a bat in a Chad. And they're like, oh, what's this new stuff? CBD? Fuck, we didn't even know about that, bro. Let me get off my frosted mountain and go grow some CBD in the winter.
For sure.
Oh, sorry. I love Chads and I love Colorado. So let's try. Without further ado, let's go through the review process with Babinka here. What was the first one you tried over there, Lovey?
The Snickerdoodle cookie.
Classic cookie, cinnamon, sugar, everything nice. What's your thoughts on that?
It was good. It was good.
Texture? Chewy, crispy.
It's between. You know, it's chewy on the inside and it's crispy on the
Oh, you
on
got
the
a double
Exactly.
texture. That's a
That's
hard
what
thing
we
to
do,
achieve
yeah.
there.
That's
Now,
that's what we
good.
strive for, honestly.
now, with your packaging, are those childproof packaging?
These are because there's no tear. There's no tear.
No tear at all. That's
Yeah.
considered childproof packaging.
If try to open
How
one.
novel is? I know. I know.
Now-
I'm a high functioning tar.
Now these are cannabis free. These are our we non-medis, I think they call them, but we call them cannabis free. So we give out for people to try in the dispensaries so they can taste the cookie prior to buying the infused ones.
Smart.
So these have a tear because it doesn't matter.
because it's not cannabis.
yeah, but these do not.
And then there's ones with do. All
Yeah.
right.
And we make them hard on the outside and soft on the inside because we tube them and we stack 10 cookies in the tube, and the childproof is inside the bag's inside the tube. So we put them in the bag first and then put the bag in the tube. And this way they stack up better.
And they keep the texture better.
They do, yeah. And
What's the
they're still
shelf life?
6 months. Yeah, we could go a little longer, but we just don't want to because it feels like 6 months. They don't really sit on the shelf that long.
Yeah.
We get very few back.
What's
for time.
acceptable loss? What would you say? When you're having to throw a product away in your
Well,
eyes. I mean, obviously zero, but
we get more loss from inconsistency of the formulas. They'll come out of the oven and they just don't fit the tube, or they're just not right. I won't send it out the door unless I feel like I can eat it or give it to my mother. And if I can't, then it's not going out the door. I'd rather waste it at this point. And that's kind of what we do. So it has to be almost perfect.
You don't even give your mom the misshaped cookies?
We're not allowed to. Unfortunately, I know. It just sucks. They have to go into a trash
There's
can.
just
It's
this
crazy.
little blue guy from Sesame Street just down at the
Yeah.
end of the line eating all the messed up shaped
yeah.
cookies.
It's me.
They're still good. It's
Cookie
just,
Monster wants your leftover cookies.
when you get a lot of our customers are first time impressions. So when you get that one time, it's got to look good, taste good, and make you feel good. Period.
420 Chef Life said you can mail all your broken cookies over to him. He said he will Cookie Monster that. Like my Cookie Monsters?
Yeah, I wish I would do it in a heartbeat.
And then Babinka, you brought treats for us today too. What do you got over here?
Yes, I brought banana cupcakes.
Banana cupcakes.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So one half is cinnamon frosting and the other is cream cheese.
Cinnamon frosting. All right, you heard it here first, folks. You also did the churro donuts too before.
Oh yeah.
So she's got a history
Churro
with this
donuts.
cinnamon. These cinnamon flavors.
Shut up.
Those are my number ones right there.
What's the milligrams you think?
Oh, 15.
Okay, all right.
They
so
should be good. One cupcake, I'm chill.
I won't have to put my head in the sand. So
Nah.
Valentine's Day is coming up, everybody. You got to check out some opportunities on how to medicate with your loved one, safely. So we're here about medicating correctly and, medicating in the right ways. Now, these 10 milligram vegan cookies are an easy way to medicate, and I've also got a couple other items that we're going to make some recommendations on for you and your sweetheart. Right when we come back, we're going to pay a bill. Farm to Table Cannabis. Let's go down the Valentine's Day shopping list for this upcoming medicated holiday. Farm to Table Cannabis, DFZ Radio, Hydro Chef approved. This will be a show.
The Cosmic Baker.
Rolling all the time, chopping all the time, yeah. We so high. Big split smoker, don't need no roller. So roll my doja, I can first show ya. Big stage older, crystal mist cola. Sticky as the growers, we gon' teach more up. We gon' see more bud, pockets on forest. Yeah, they cheer for us, cause we got more of what they want is store plus. If I can't fly, I'ma puff till I soar up. Good day for 'em. The way I run these trees, you can say I run forest. Yeah, I run for it, run toward it. Haters can't ignore it. All that ladies love it, it's so euphoric. They so blatantly adore. Bumping all the cuts as we cruising to the night. Like that cut from DJ Quick, cause it's going down tonight. Just sliding at the split so I can hit it while I ride. And shorty looking swift, I'ma hit it while I drive. We so high, smoking all the time, rolling all the time, chopping all the time. Yeah, we so high, smoking all the time, rolling all the time, chopping all the time. Yeah, we so high.
Fire up another split. Take a hit, show life I'm fucking with. And I'd be lying if I said my life is perfect. I'm hurting inside enough for me to catch a burden. Lungs turning black, smoke till my chest is burning. Can't hold back. back, I'm high till the morning. We brew money, it's the only thing that levels me. You can call it remedy, but never gets the best of me. Twist to get it lifted while I'm shipping to the bitches. Got me feeling like the riches, I'm on it, so get with it. Flipping on that killer soul, smoking with a privilege. Take it higher than the gifted, so don't mind if I'm tripping. Gotta keep my hustle up, so I smoke the top shelf. If your lungs ain't strong enough, smoke with somebody else. I need that good, burning like wood should. I good wood, burning like good wood should. So high, can't touch the ground. Look at me, I'm Superman. I wanna go up, light the blunt, light it up and have so much fun. Get high, so high, can't touch the ground. Look at me, I'm Superman. I wanna go up, light the blunt, light it up and have so much fun.
So high, smoking all the time.
All right, we're back, DFZ Radio. That was The Saint 562. What's the name of that track, Saint?
That song right there is called So Fly, So High, because that's how we be up in here.
So fly, so high.
That's right.
So, Babinka, what's up for you? What's coming next? And do you offer classes to cook yet? I mean, it's got to be coming soon.
Yeah, in the future. In the future when I move. I'm going to move in May, hopefully. So I want to offer where, I'll pay a certain amount of money, come over. It's going to be like a class of 5, and I'll provide a small cake, show you how to stack it, how to ice it, how to decorate it. Maybe we could get high together while you make a cake.
Your girl's got cake. She's got skills. She's gonna show you how to,
Smack it up, flip it up.
Yep, frost it. She's got it, and she knows about growing too.
A little bit.
Yeah, she killed a plant or two. That's the thing. You got to kill some plants. You got to kill plants to understand how to grow. Yep. All right. That's what I always tell people. Dude, go kill some plants. You'll learn more than you ever would have.
It's so
being
sad
successful.
when you kill a plant, though.
You got to learn how to fuck up before you can learn how to succeed. Now, Kevin and crew, what is next for 2020, you guys? It's been a long navigating process for you guys.
Big things.
You've I got to say you're well established now. You are the premier vegan cookie product in the medicated world. So how do you take this to the next level? What's the new products coming out? And, how can we pick your brain to become like you?
Yeah, well, we're just pushing these 4 at this point. We have some other flavors, but, launching another flavor and, with everything behind it is quite a bit. We don't do a lot of holiday cookies either, even though we'd love to. We did a Christmas one last year, like a holiday, it was a peppermint, a double chocolate peppermint cookie. But the problem was with testing and with the way you have to do it, the batches have to be so damn big that you really need a little bit more time than just the holiday season to sell them.
And by that time, you're making winter cookies in summer,
so
and you just lose all the nostalgia.
It's a
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, so...
I hate Easter candy and Christmas.
Yeah, well, you'd have to buy it from us, yeah. But yeah, we just did a photo shoot. We're going to be on the cover of Edibles magazine. About
such a reliable source for all things cannabis.
Yep. So they're telling the whole story behind Cosmic and how we got to where we are. We're doing the Hall of Flowers coming up in April.
The premiere event too.
Yep.
So
that's awesome.
And it's in SoCal this time, you guys. So if you're not checking out Cosmic Edibles at the Hall of Flowers, you're missing out on an awesome day. Where are you guys going to be in there?
Well, there's just one big room this year.
Oh yeah.
So we're in that big room.
We're in the big room.
Yeah, we're in the room. Yeah.
I'm coming to hang out with you guys and get lit.
For sure.
So it's been challenging for people trying to get into this industry, people trying to navigate it and become a part of the cannabis industry, especially minorities.
Yeah.
Now, what tips can you give to people? You guys have jumped the hurdles. You've dealt with the Bureau of Cannabis Control. You guys have showed up for your appointments and set the blueprint on how to set up a successful business. What kind of tips can you give? I mean, there's not a blueprint you can just hand to people and say, hey, this is how to do it, but...
No, I mean, I think from 35,000 feet, I would say pick your city, the correct city. That's the biggest thing. The cities have all the control because the Prop 64 gives them it. So it's a thing where, like, you pick the wrong city and it's going to take 3-4 times as long. It's going to cost you 3 or 4 times as much money. You really have to find a proactive city, really. That's the biggest thing, I think, because most people are sitting around waiting for their cities to get their act together.
Did you have to show the city how you were going to do business, or did they ask you to do it a certain way? A lot of people are right now, they're setting the standard for the city. City doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. They're looking at you like, I don't fucking know. You got the license. You tell me how the fuck you want to grow and make your edibles.
Well, we strive to have when we made the bakery initially, to be a really very clean, top quality, top technology kitchen bakery that you would see, in any other regular bakery, company. You can eat off our floors, and it's completely compliant with all the fire, sprinkler systems and alarm systems and doors and locks and everything right. So, I think that helps a lot when they come in and they're used to going into spaces when they inspect and they're just a mess. I think it helped just to be dialed in and know the rules ahead of time, so when they come in, they don't feel like you're kind of wasting their time.
And don't get an attitude with them.
No,
right? Because we all come from the food industry, and whatever, we've all worked for somewhere where they wanted to cuss out the food inspector, or they wanted to cuss out the CDFA when they come into the hydro store. Dude, that's not the guy to give shit to.
Nope.
Those are the people trying to help you stay compliant.
Yep.
You want to work hand in hand with your local resources,
Yep.
your local compliance people, your state officials, because that's really where you're going to stay in the good graces. And it's not about, it's not patting the palms. It's making the relationship and paying it forward so that they know you mean no harm, and they know you the same, vice versa. So, what city are you guys working out of?
We're in LA.
All right.
Yep. So we've been working with the DCR, and it's just taken them a lot longer than I
They
guess
deserve no credit right now, and you're being nice, honestly. I mean,
well, we're operating, and
you don't have to throw them under the bus, but I'll tell you that a lot of the
challenge.
companies out there, they just have had horrible times dealing with it.
We got lucky, I think,
and trying to get their products off the ground and the packaging, and if it's doing things 3 times and then I'm asking you to change things one more time. And that puts small businesses and the minority and the equity the social equity programs out of the business. They can't compete with that, redoing shit 4 times. And then, Babinka, we've been talking about this for like 2 years now. Like, it's coming eventually. Like, she's going to get an investor. She's going to be in there, and she's going to be doing those same hurdles that you guys did. Now, Babinka, this is your consultation. You can pay me later for this one. But it was like, what were the questions that you always like needed to know, making that first step from the legal or the I don't want to call it the traditional market to what we have now as a white market?
It's pretty much what they want out of me. I've had a lot of investors wanting to just buy off my name. I don't want to do that. I don't want to sell it. I mean, I've built this company by myself from the ground up. I've done everything. And so for me just to be like, to just hand it off to somebody, I could not do it. It would break my heart. So, I mean,
I can't believe they'd want it. I mean,
and it comes down to the white label versus black label versus
they want a white label, and I don't want to do that. I
neither.
think the products that I offer are pretty unique. You know what I mean? It's not on the market. And so for me to go and try to white label, like what you were saying, like with
people will know it's yours.
Yeah, they'll know, but it's going to be under somebody else's.
Right, which is a bummer. Yeah.
I'm not going to work hard to put for somebody else's name.
I agree with you. Yeah.
And the thing that's marketable about it too is it's not a Me Too product. You have a following. You have a following because you get deleted. You only get deleted if people give a fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're going in the right direction there. Now it's about evolving past taking that same followership and applying it to your brand long term.
Yeah.
When someone tries to buy a company that has no following, no nothing, they get those little hodgepodge products that come up and they go away.
Yeah.
They never make a name for themselves. When you have a brand behind you and a following behind you, it's easier to rep that brand and turn that brand into something. So that's what's a lot more marketable about you. So I would say, fuck the white marketing.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And for you, it's all about finding that right investor that sees that same vision for you. Going to a couple of those investor summits, a couple of the MJ BizCons, the things like that.
Yeah.
I think that's where the best scene for you is right now, because you got the talent, you got the best products when it comes to like the home baking, and gosh, nobody could touch you at a sesh, So it's like you see some of the baked goods at these places. If you'd walk in there, you'd shut that shit down. Not saying you do, but you could.
Yeah.
So, having a strong name brand behind you and a following paired with the marketing that you guys do, I think that really is the key to success for people that are, trying to push out a brand right now.
And when people come into me with certain products they're trying to, get licenses to make, one of the biggest things is just having the ability to scale it big. And somebody comes in with a little truffle with a nut on top and a little mint on the bottom, whatever, and dipped in,
That's cool, bro, but can you do that 1,000 times in a fucking day?
That's the problem. Yeah. 1,000, I mean,
more,
geez,
okay.
yeah, you gotta,
he's got grand visions for my ideas.
Yeah, you gotta think big, and that's the only way to, the margins are so small that, you can't make a business if you're selling a few few thousand. You have to sell a few 100,000.
Yeah.
You hear that?
That's the nature of it.
That's it. More. We got to bump them numbers up.
Yeah.
Say it with me. Boom.
That's my biggest worry.
Boom. Yeah.
Yep.
By this time next year, we're going to be selling fucking 100,000 fucking cakes.
That's right.
Cupcakes.
Yep.
So, and cookies. So let's talk about, before we go, what's next for you guys? What's the new flavor coming out?
Well, we're playing with a few new ones. Right now, we're just focusing on these 4, but we have a sugar cookie we're working on. I mean, that's the thing, is you have to think of how to make these cookies still spectacular simply. And that's the biggest problem. And like our Snickerdoodle cookie, although it's one of our, most popular cookies we have, the double chocolate's the most popular, and then the Snickerdoodle. The Snickerdoodle takes twice as long because you got to roll it in the cinnamon sugar, and all the rest you can go straight in the oven with. So it requires an additional
step.
piece that costs money, and everything that costs money, you have to figure out a way to reduce that in a way that you can still make a great product that every time is consistent and still tastes good. And that's one of the biggest challenges we had. The Snickerdoodles will be the first one we kick if we have to, but it's one of our most popular, so we're sticking with it. Plus, I love it.
It's one of my personal favorites, too. Did you guys brand it out and did socks, too?
We did, Rocket Socks.
See, and that's when you know the company's taking this
Highly
shit seriously.
wearable.
They start going marketing. They start thinking, all right, we got the cookies down. Now, how do we brand it?
Well, that was the thing I didn't think about the least when I put this all together was the marketing and the advertising and the shelf, getting on the shelf. And so it's like I grossly underestimated the difficulty it would be to do that and get the brand out there and get on the shelves. And you really have to budget heavy for it.
Now, not coming from this culture and this side of things and, finding the right idea and doing it for the right reasons, how has a culture embraced you when you bring these products to the shop?
Well, I mean, we get a pretty good one. I mean, because we're kind of that little microbrewery.
Yeah.
So we come in
You're
with
a success
fun,
story guy.
Yeah, fun product.
You started out healing.
We did.
And now you're on the rec market.
Yeah. After babysitting Trump for a while.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
We could get into a whole nother thing here, but you weren't exactly the press secretary for Trump, but you have been in some unique situations with the president. Anything you can laugh about?
Well,
last time we put you through the gauntlet, we were asking him everything. But now the impeachment's over, everything's done. You can say whatever you want now. What have you seen, man?
Since we're in the election phase. I produced The Apprentice. It was it's the show I did for years.
Producer.
That's dope.
I went with him when he voted, and I don't remember the year, but Bill Clinton was running. So I don't remember which terms he ran and what the year was, but I went with him during that time, and he went into the booth, and he comes out of the booth, and he says to me, I said, "Who'd you vote for?" He said, "I voted for Bill Clinton." I said, "Oh, yeah?" And he goes, "Yeah, this time I voted for my country, not my pocketbook."
Damn.
Yeah, he said that to me. I'll never forget it because it was pretty intense.
You heard it first here, Kevin from Cosmic Edibles,
yeah.
with a unique perspective on the political world.
Right. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's funny.
Yeah.
Now, with everything going on in the world of legalization, if you had to guess, you're just thoroughly putting a guess out there. You think Donald Trump's pro cannabis, or he's going to do some things in this upcoming year that's going to make it harder for us to do business?
I'm not 100% sure about the cannabis, but I'm very familiar with the other substances, of his thoughts, like alcohol, and he's completely against it. So I can't imagine he's for it outside of the medical, side. I think he has a sensitive side to that. So I think that if he sees there's actual benefit to it medically, I could see him potentially doing something there. Because he does have, he secretly keeps it secret, but he does tend to have the soft side where he wants to take care of people, and he tends to not let that part out because I don't know if he thinks it's weak or whatnot, but there is.
You got to sit at a position of strength, and that makes you look stronger.
So, I don't know. I think he would be pressured to put it away, but who knows? I don't know. That's a good question.
I got a event next week. I'm going to be cooking for Rand Paul.
Oh yeah,
and
right on.
I'm going to see if he wants some cookies.
Yeah,
he'll probably say no, but you know what? I'll give him one of the non-medicated ones
to try it first.
Yeah,
hook him.
Tell him what he thinks, and then hey. Holler at your boy, Rand. All right. Yeah. Hey, we appreciate you guys coming in. Big shout out to Kevin at Cosmic Edibles. The whole crew came in and kept us entertained. You guys were pretty mouthy today. I don't know what we're going to do. Next time, you put a muzzle on these two, all right?
I will.
Babinka, always keeping it real. We appreciate you. We're looking forward to seeing you in the legal market in 2020 and beyond. And thanks for the awesome cupcakes. If you're looking for Valentine's Day treats, dude, you got to check out Cosmic Vegan Edibles. They got the awesome products. Babinka is coming for Easter. She's got you covered. And then, dude, if you're smart, go buy your lady some diamonds for Valentine's Day. They're in a little jar from J Farms. Shout out to J Farms for the diamonds and sauce, because you don't want to get caught up with a real diamond. All right, Farm to Table Cannabis. Happy Valentine's Day. Other than that, we out.
Chopping up hydro, the hydro steps in the building and he rolling up hydro. Hydro's in the kitchen and he cooking it up. Hydro, let's go. Hydro's in the studio. Chop it up, up that hydro. Hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro. Hydro make me feel fine. Cook up that hydro make me feel high. Feeling so high. Roll up, cook up hydro. Roll up, cook up hydro. Roll up, cook up hydro. Let's go. Roll up, cook up.
DFCRadio.com